from the First Street Studios in South Tampa, Florida, it's time for another round of Last Call 76 with your host, Dan, Jay, and behind the camera, the one and only Jess.
There's videos I see online and on social media, Dan, that I get a huge kick out of it. You'll see after a player's traded or they're released or they're cut or whatever, they leave the organization. I will never understand why people do this, but they'll make it a point to put up videos on X or YouTube burning jerseys. Team makes a trade that they don't like, or they're going on a 6-game losing streak. They're burning their hats or throwing stuff in the garbage. Who the hell cares? Like, what are we trying to prove here? Why do people do this nonsense? Like, do you honestly think the team gives a crap if you take your Tampa Bay Buccaneers hat and you burn it because you're mad that, just hypothetically speaking, player A decides to leave for the Miami Dolphins or the Atlanta Falcons? Do you think the team cares?
No, they don't.
Do you think the player gives a rat's rear end that if he leaves the Tampa Bay Lightning for the Florida Panthers? Do you think he cares that you took his jersey you spent $200 on and burned it in a burn barrel? He's got his residuals. Why do people do this? That's my big kick. Why do people feel like they feel the need to make public spectacles of themselves because something happens they don't like in terms of that side of things?
Well, I think there's an emotional factor to it, right? You spend a lot of money. You've been following these teams for a long time. So, hey, even us have got pretty emotional over some stuff, especially sports that we're involved in. But I don't know why they do it. I have never in my life thrown a TV off the wall, which I think most of those are scripted. It's time to go get a new one anyway.
Nah, TV's probably
broke. But especially the Dallas ones you get all the time, But the one when the guy shot it, the other one drove it over with a car. Those were a little extreme, right? I'm almost positive those were all staged. They all looked, pretty much the TV was easy to come off the wall.
Yeah.
But I think there are some extreme fanatics when it comes to that. Their behaviors going to games. Like you go to some stadiums and you just have rude people.
Yeah.
And you'll see it here a lot in Tampa because teams travel well here. And what I mean by that is a lot of people have come to Florida over the recent years and moved here. So by like 1,000 a day or something, right? So when you go to Raymond James, Tampa fans are generally pretty cool, right? But holy crap, I don't want to mention no teams here, but there's a few of y'all that have played here, so it's pretty easy to figure it out. You got some true winners in your crowd. But with that being said, I've never, like I said, when the Chicago Bears hat, I never took it outside and just thought it was cool to put my Zippo lighter on it and spray it with some gas or some WD-40 to make a flame and burn it. So I know where you're going with it, but there's a level of like human decency that for some reason, it doesn't transpire all the time in the game of sports. I know it's emotional, but I don't know, man. I don't know where you're going with this. I'm just rambling on.
Well, I know how to do it. It's for social media clout.
Well, okay, so there's a level of clicks that come with that. There's some, you get some algorithms going for yourself or whatever, if you're acting in that capacity, if you're scripting it, so to speak, right? So let's say our little logo here, last call, right? Okay, let's say the Bucs lose the 49ers. Okay, probably won't be very happy. I can promise you I'm not throwing a $6,000 TV down the drain, right? Now, I got a couple small ones up there if I want to go make a, like a shorts or a reel. And I could go out there and shoot it with a 12 gauge or something, whatever. And just for clickbait, then maybe that's what they're doing. But there are some fans that are extreme. Let's just say that.
No, they're numbskulls. I mean, it's like I'm not burning a $200 Tua Tagovailoa jersey if he leaves the Miami Dolphins next year and this free agent walk here. I'm not. What have I accomplished? I'm the one that's out $200. Who gives a crap? I've burned my money. Tua's going to get his residuals regardless. So what are we doing here? And then there's another one, okay, UFC. We're very familiar with.
Yeah.
They just grabbed a new sponsor.
Are we really going to go there? It's not a new sponsor.
Let's grab back an old sponsor.
Budweiser has been with the UFC for a long, long time.
Yeah.
It may not be the Budweiser. It may not be Bud Light. Let's say it's Modelo.
Yeah.
A distribution point. Who cares, dude? Really, at the point, here's, can I say this? Because I'm going to leave it alone because I'm not going down that road. Here's the deal. I don't like the shit. Oh.
You had yours for the month?
No, you can use it.
You had yours for the month?
There's my one for the one. But so my wallet does my voting. I don't care if a sport is sponsorship driven. Don't act like you're all high and mighty. You don't like something that's going on and you're not going to watch another pay-per-view just to get clicks on social media, because that's where you're putting, because otherwise we would never know you're having a problem with it. So, right? Am I right, Jessica? So you're going to go on Instagram, TikTok, and go, oh, I'm banning the UFC for life, knowing you're going to watch the next pay-per-view just like us.
Yep.
So stop the madness. Good clickbait. Hopefully you get some residual ads, because I get a lot of those and you get paid. Good for you. But don't think I'm going to believe that for 1 second. Just like you all banned the NFL and everything else, and it's got great ratings this year. Come on, man. You got to understand one thing about the sports and business. I couldn't race my race car without money. And guess what? That's where you get your money from, is from the sponsors. You get a small payout from NASCAR. You understand? I'm owning a charter. So it's all sponsorship driven. And it costs millions and millions of dollars to race a car.
Yeah.
Okay. So no different than the UFC.
Right.
They're their own media company. They don't have now, of course, they, sign contracts with, what was it before? Spike was first. And then, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
But by and large, during the pay-per-views, that's all ESPN's camera crews.
Yeah.
Right? Internal. So how are you going to pay the staff? How are you going to pay the fighters?
Yeah.
You got to take the sponsors. So you know what? I understand. I've been listening to it, dude. And finally, I just turned it off in my head, because at the end of the day, the sport doesn't survive if they don't have a sponsor. And if the sponsor says, I want this beer in the middle of the octagon this time, then guess what? Dana White or whoever, what's it, TKO now?
Yeah.
They're going to tell you what's going to be in the center of the octagon. That's what they want. I mean, that's kind of goes back to the same thing with M&M Mars. Okay, I don't like Milky Way. I don't like Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
I want Snickers to eat. But M&M Mars says, no, we're going to send you the ones that don't sell because we're giving it to you for free. Think about it. But guess what? So are you just going to throw them in the trash? Me? Probably. But other companies need that money. Is that a good example, though? I mean, we know there's one thing good that comes out of M&M Mars. Well, actually two. Peanut M&Ms and a Snicker bar. All the rest of it becomes Halloween candies, right? You only see it now. I mean, how many times have you gone to a store and seen anybody in your life buy a Three Musketeer bar? I'm just asking. How many times in your life have you seen anybody go to a store and buy a Milky Way? I'm just asking. Okay. So you're one.
Two.
It would be this. Okay. Oh, okay. So my point is, that's Dookie candy.
I'll never eat it again after hearing that.
A Milky Way is a Snicker without the peanut in it. Okay, fine. But that's Dookie candy. And so is Three Musketeers. And so is Milky Way Dark. All right? But look.
I think we weren't going to have this conversation at the beginning of the show.
Now because Halloween just ended, right? So we're going to talk about it. And here's the reason, even though we were on this other conversation, I'm getting back to sponsorship somehow. But the bottom line, you drifted into this, so I'm going to drift with it. I forgot about the Twix bar. That's a binger. I mean, that's a bad candy bar. It's good, right? So that's what I'm saying, though. So getting back to sponsorship, they're going to put I think I was going somewhere with this, but look, they're going to put their product that they need to start selling again, right? So everybody relax, man. It's going to be okay. We're still going to have good fights. We're still going to have great entertainment. And unfortunately, some of y'all just disagree with some management that made a decision that went bad. And guess what? A lot of them are gone. And Anheuser-Busch, here's the rub. They employ like 60,000 veterans. Their CEO is a former Marine, okay? They give hundreds of millions of dollars to the veteran program, to the NFL, for them all to be wearing the representation through Veterans Day. So, man, back off a little bit. Just don't buy it like me. It's going to be okay, man. I promise. It's going to be okay. I am not losing 1 ounce of sleep tonight if somebody comes over to my house and brings a 6-pack of Bud Light and they drink it. Will I partake in that? Absolutely not. But am I going to kick my friend out of my house because it was BYOB to watch the fights tonight and he's got a 6-pack of Bud Light? Am I not going to give him my refrigeration and my electric? You understand what I'm saying? It's like so ludicrous, man.
Take your crap and throw it in the pool.
Whatever. But getting back to what you were saying, I don't want to talk about it much more, but it's like there's going to always be the extremes. Everybody's protesting everything. Everybody's firing McDonald's because of this. You know, whatever it is, whatever the flavor of the day is. And it'll blow up on social media. It'll do this. And all the hypocrites out there are saying, I'm never watching an NFL game again. And then you see them 3 days later. I can't believe my damn Cowboys lost again.
Yep.
Come on, man. I watch it. I see what you're writing. But that's all I got. That was long, man.
No, it's good, though. Here's the whole thing is, listen, until sponsorship starts affecting the on-field product, which it never does, the beer ain't going to make the quality of the game any better, any worse.
They're going to get my $18 per beer at Tampa Stadium, Raymond James.
That's right.
And I'm going to pick which one I want. And that's just the way it's going to be.
And as somebody who, as we're trying to make a profitable business here ourselves with this, listen, there are certain burger joints I don't like. And there's one prominent one in general. Burger joint throws us enough money, I'm going to learn to love that burger real damn quick.
Oh, yeah, I'll do a cheetah flip with it.
Exactly.
Because that's what helps us bring our show together.
I'll run down the street with a burger in my mouth. I'll run down the street to Tampa with a burger in my mouth.
I know they're going to be, well, you have no values. You have, okay, I'm pretty sure I had some serving in the military pretty much my whole life. I think I have a value system to fight for my country. And I think I also have the right to drink whatever I want now. Eat whatever hamburger I want, especially if I'm being monetized for it, right?
Hey, you know what? If eating a burger,
it's not cheap how Jessica to film this, right? You know, if it is, you guys do your own.
hey, if eating a hamburger and drinking alcohol, drinking a specific beer dictates values, and we're in the wrong world, because that's not what you drink and what you eat don't make you dictate your values. Who you are dictates your values.
That's kind of the direction they're going, though. You know, it's everything just to stir the pot so they can get attention because they're so lonely and they're so miserable.
Here's your clicks on X. Here's your XX. You know.
Yeah. Let's close this off.
Hey, let's call it. Let's call it. We got more.
Enough.
We got more to talk about. I'm gonna go drink a beer.
Roger. This episode of Last Call was brought to you by SJP Snapshots and Minx Inc. Clothing and Apparel.